The expectations on this video were high.
Ancient Egypt, Elvis, and Bruce Campbell. Can't wait to see what you think of this film.
People were looking forward to this review.
I watched that years ago. I really enjoyed it. Let me know what you think.
It was time for a new life. A better life.
Just another freak.
Let's do something a little bit different today. In this review, I have hidden 10 Elvis Presley songs. See if you can spot them all and let me know in the comments below. This review has quite a few people excited, and I have to admit, the premise sounds really fun and silly. Everyone I've spoken to about this film has had positive things to say about how funny it is, how bonkers it is, and how much they've enjoyed it. I've deliberately gone into this one blind to maximise the impact, and I hope this is one I love and come back to, but at the same time, if there's something I don't like, then I'll bring it up. It's now or never. Here's my review of Bubba Ho-Tep. An elderly man named Sebastian Haff in a retirement home claims to be the real Elvis Presley, rather than the impersonator that everyone thinks he is. This is because he and the real Sebastian Haff traded lives as Elvis was getting tired of the showbiz life. Elvis is in the home after years in a coma following an accident where he fell off a stage as his own impersonator. He and his friend Jack start to notice odd goings on involving a large scarab beetle and more deaths of the residents than usual. Jack believes himself to be former President John F. Kennedy that survived his assassination attempt, but the government dyed his skin black and put him in the retirement home. Elvis and Jack start to investigate and discover that the remains of a cursed mummy were stolen from a museum and then crashed into the river by the home. The mummy, who Elvis calls Bubba Ho-Tep, is a soul sucker who digests the souls of the near dead to keep himself alive, but this doesn't sit well with the elderly pair who make it their mission to kill Bubba Ho-Tep and release the souls of those he has sucked. One night they work together to set the mummy on fire and nearly succeed, but it gets up, attacks Jack and leaves him for dead. Elvis, on Jack's motorized wheelchair, attacks the mummy and this time does manage to kill Bubba Ho-Tep, releasing the souls into the ether. In the fall though, Elvis has become mortally wounded himself and he dies by the river knowing he dies a hero. This might be the shortest plot summary I've ever done, and that's because the story is really straightforward. This is a 90-minute film whose main focus is not the story but how you get there. A character piece that really wants you to feel sorry for what Elvis has become through the medium of the brilliant Bruce Campbell, who I think plays a great elderly Elvis. He's the spotlight for a reason and the strongest part of the film for the good times. Unfortunately, I didn't find much else to like about this film and I really wanted to. I found myself giving pity laughs at times that weren't actually that funny. There is way too much focus on Elvis's erectile trouble. You can make the argument that Elvis's little hound dog is an allegory for Elvis's life at this point, no feeding and useless at the beginning, leaving him all shook up, but it becomes much more active once he has something to do and a mystery to solve. The growth, potentially being cancerous, seems to be an excuse for the nurse having him apply cream to it, leading to his US mail coming back to life. The thing is, I'm giving huge benefit of doubt towards this theory and perhaps need a little less conversation on his burning love and more on the other issues I have with the film. The budget of $1 million means that things like licensing music or even showing Elvis's real face while he's watching his own movies is noticeable but forgivable. The thing is, this film is going for a comedy and I just don't think it's that funny. There's some really good stuff in making you feel sorry for Elvis, and you could maybe do an hour-long mockumentary about Elvis in his heartbreak hotel of a home, but the supernatural stuff interlopes on it and takes away from the gravity that the film goes for early on. There is a really poignant scene where his roommate dies in the middle of the night and the daughter shows up and is basically throwing everything away, including photos and his purple heart. Elvis asks if he can keep them and even asks why she never visited. It's something that makes you feel sorry for Elvis, especially as his wife and daughter don't know he's there. He asks several times to himself, would they even visit him if they knew, though Priscilla was probably busy filming the Naked Gun movies. The scene is then undercut by Elvis looking up the daughter's skirt and saying how he has the flutter of an erection. Stop with the references to down there! I suppose the issue I have is that the film was going for silly and funny, but then presenting me with sad and depressing before trying for silly again, and I just didn't go for it. There are some directorial choices I like. The use of split screen where Elvis's bed is a divider was really cool, and the mornings where a body is being removed by the coroners, although the content was cringy, reminded me of the multiple body disposals in The Lady Killers. But then I'm asking questions like, when is this set? It's implied to be the 90s, but everything looks really old, including nurse uniforms, cars, TVs. Is this just how East Texas looks generally, or is it because of how run down the home is? Something could have been done to clear this up. I was told the soundtrack was underrated, and I'm afraid I have to disagree there too. Most of the tracks, and I did listen to them outside the film, are very similar to each other, and it's generic, sad rock for lack of a better term. It's not bad per se, but it's not worth seeking out to listen outside of the film. I did enjoy the several gags in the credits though, including the teaser for a sequel called Bubba Nosferatu, Curse of the She-Vampires, starring Sebastian Haff.
That just raises further questions.
So was Bubba Ho-Tep actually a meta film starring Sebastian Haff playing Elvis as Sebastian Haff? Does that mean all the sympathy felt for the real Elvis is just Sebastian Haff being a fantastic actor? Or was the real Elvis pretending to be Sebastian Haff pretending to be Elvis as Sebastian Haff in the real world?
Stop! You're making me giddy!
Well, it turns out that although this was just a joke initially, the positive reception of the film did lead to a sequel being attempted, but ultimately fell short. Apparently the script was already written, but between casting issues, development hell and budget problems, the sequel was dropped. The series continued though in its original form as a novella, which includes a crossover with Ash Williams, another character played by Bruce Campbell. I honestly don't know what Ash Williams is from though. Hang on, let me just look that up. Oh! Evil Dead. Alright, I don't know anything about that franchise. In the end, Bubba Ho-Tep is not something I can recommend as a whole. It just didn't hit the right notes for me, and I found myself hoping it would pick up by the halfway point. It's a shame because I really wanted to like this, but I can't just pretend to like something that I didn't, and it's highly unlikely I'll go back to this one. Bubba Ho-Tep feels like a fun idea that wasn't executed properly, and it didn't change my wooden heart. Thank you for watching this video. If you like what you see, please give this video a like and share it on social media. Maybe leave a comment below about what you thought of this video. And if you'd like to see more, please subscribe for more content. If you'd like to support me in other ways, you can buy merchandise at bradleyj.tmail.com, where you can buy t-shirts, tote bags and more. Or you can become a Patreon at www.patreon.com/BradleyJVoices for just £1 a month. Coming up next for the Film Review Open Challenge is Mademoiselle Chambon. For now though, thank you very much for watching.